Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst with Money Markets, here with your weekly marijuana market update. Now, make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified each time we put up a new video. We've just launched our new membership program here on YouTube, gives you exclusive access to even more cannabis content. We do have, if you check out our community channel, we do have, we're asking you a question. We kind of like to expand our offerings in that membership community. So we'd like to kind of know what you're looking for, maybe outside the cannabis market. So make sure you head over to our community tab on YouTube and let us know what your thoughts are. But now right now the membership program includes new videos, interviews with cannabis insiders, monthly live chat with me, which is coming up, and blog posts about movements in the cannabis market. So make sure you check that out. Click join on our homepage on the channel and find out how you can become a part of this great new community. Now, today I'm going to discuss a few things. One, I'm going to answer a question about the psychedelic industry and take a deeper dive into that sector. And then I'm going to update our brand new Money Markets Cannabis Index. So today I'm going to start with psychedelics. Michael emailed me at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com, and he said, should I invest in some psychedelics, not just like cannabis from a few years ago? Is that a good speculation at this time? So basically, Michael's asking, is psychedelics, investing in psychedelics now kind of like investing in cannabis a few years ago? And is it a good idea to do so? And well, thank you for your question, Michael. I'm more than happy to address it. Also, email me, make sure you email me your contact information, feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. My team's going to send you out some swag just for our appreciation and thanking you for being a part of the community. So psychedelics, it's a bit of a mixed bag right now. There are companies that are actively researching the potential for psychedelics, and mainly psilocybin, to treat such things as post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, and a wealth of other mental issues. Companies are looking at using psilocybin and other forms of psychedelics to try to treat. Now, recently I found an index that tracks around 52 companies that fall under this category. Psy Index has put together an index that would be similar to the S&P 500 and also similar to our Money and Markets Cannabis Index. And as you can see here, it tracks the movement of 52 different companies. It's equal weighted, just like our cannabis index. And the index peaked at around 220 back in May of 2020. It pared back, went on another run between December 2020 and February of 2021. But since then, the lows have been higher, but the index is trending sideways, telling me that the movement in this sector has been relatively limited. Now, I looked at the 52 companies tracked by the index, and for the most part, these are very small pharmaceutical companies. Most are thinly traded. Some of these only trade less than 100,000 shares in a day. Now, the biggest headwind facing these companies is, just like cannabis, the use of psychedelics is not legal here in the US unless you're in Oregon, where psilocybin is actually now legal, and it's the only state where it is. And like cannabis, advocates for legalization of psychedelics are taking a similar path to convince lawmakers that they should be. They're starting with the promotion of the potentially positive impacts that psychedelics have on treating mental health issues like depression, ADHD, PTSD, and a wealth of others. And this is very similar to what cannabis activists did several years ago to try to push ahead the use of cannabis to make it legal. And you know, it's why medical use cannabis is more widely legal in the United States than adult use. I believe there's 38 states where medical cannabis is legal, only 18 or so where it is legal in some form or fashion for adult use. So you can see that's where, you know, things kind of spurred. Medical was the spearhead, and then they ease into adult use. And this is exactly what psychedelic advocates are doing, and using research that these companies are producing to provide kind of a backstop as to why their argument is correct. The argument made by psychedelic advocates does make sense, and especially because of the prevalence of those mental health issues that we've seen here in the US. Once these small companies are able to show the medical benefit of psilocybin and other compounds within psychedelics to treat these things, it's going to be really difficult to argue against the medical use of psychedelics. But that, as well as cannabis, is going to take time before it's completed. These studies are still in phase 2, some are in phase 3, but it takes time to finish these clinical phases before presenting a report to the FDA. Then it has to be vetted, lawmakers have to understand, and then finally get behind legalization efforts. It is a very time-consuming process, as we've seen with cannabis. 2008, 2018, we've seen this happen time and time again, where you think we're there, but then we're not. And I think we're going to see the same with psychedelics. Now, in terms of investing, the other challenge faced by companies researching psychedelics is that they haven't made any money yet. There's no profit here. And this means their value metrics like price to earnings, price to sales, price to book are all over the map if they exist at all. Now, I looked at one in particular, Atai Life Sciences. It trades on the NASDAQ. Its ticker symbol is ATAI. Now, if you look here, it's a German company that is researching the variant of R-ketamine to treat depression and other forms of psychedelics to treat other mental health issues like anxiety, opioid abuse, and schizophrenia. Now, the company was formed in 2018 and it went public on the American market earlier this year. They did record $20 million in sales in the first quarter of 2021, but after some research, I found that was just money collected as part of a collaboration with another pharmaceutical company called Otsuka to continue researching that R-ketamine therapy. So they haven't actually sold anything yet, and it's going to be some time before they actually do. Now, since its IPO, which did raise $258 million, ATAI stock has dropped about 18%, but it does show signs of an uptick. Another psychedelic stock I am keeping an eye on is Mind Medicine Incorporated. It trades on the NASDAQ under MNMD. I talked about this before in a previous video some weeks ago. It does trade a little more liquid than its peers as it's moved more than 4.5 million shares on Monday. It's focusing on developing psychedelic therapies to treat addiction and mental illness, and it is based in New York. Over the last 12 months, the stock has jumped about 840%, but you have to consider the math here. It was trading at 34 cents per share a year ago and is now at $2.80 per today. So, percentages seem very high because it's trading at such a low price point. Now, the stock dipped after reaching a high in April, but it seems to be rebounding and was up 8% as of its close on Monday. I don't see any debt for the company, but I also don't see any income either. But regardless, in the psychedelic space, MNMD is going to be one I'm going to watch. So to answer your question, Michael, there is significant risk with investing in psychedelic companies. Should you? Well, if you're willing to play a very long game here and realize that any gains you get are going to take a lot of time to get, and if this is a sector that truly interests you, then of course you should. If you are very passionate about psychedelics and really believe in the research and think that there is a huge upside to their treatment of mental health disorders, then yes, you absolutely should. But if you're not willing to see some red in your portfolio for the foreseeable future, or you're not, or you want gains quicker, or you're just not willing to wait, then it might not be a good idea right now. I think we need to wait and see maybe some of these clinical trials move a little more forward. Maybe we see a little more positive news here, and maybe then we reach a point to where it's now an early time to get in to some of these stocks. I really believe these studies are going to show the positive impacts of psychedelic treatment, and I do believe that psychedelics are going to follow the same path to legalization as cannabis did. And I also think the timeline for psychedelic legalization is going to be a little faster than cannabis. Cannabis kind of paved the way to increase the understanding of how these drugs, once considered a stigma, can actually be used to help treat mental health issues. And I really firmly believe that psychedelics are going to do that. It's just now it's very, very, very early. So it really just kind of depends on what your mindset is in terms of your portfolio. Like I said, if you're willing to look at a stock that trades sideways, that doesn't produce a lot of gains, and you're willing to play a very long game, and you're very interested in psychedelics, then absolutely ask about some companies. I'll do some research for you, and we'll certainly take a look at some that are out there. I've already given you two that are potentials: ATAI and Mind Medicine. Or if you're looking for quicker gains, you're not really willing to wait. You're not really very patient. You're not willing to sit on stocks for 3 years to see any potential, anywhere from a year to 3 years to see potential gains. Then right now is probably not a good time, because you're probably going to wind up exiting the position before you see any tangible gains to your portfolio. But I do thank you for the question, Michael. And again, look for some money market swag coming your way. My team's going to reach out to you and get some contact info so we can send all that to you. Now, you can get some money market swag yourself. Just submit a question for me, for Adam O'Dell, or for Charles Sizemore. And if we use any of those questions in any of our videos here on YouTube, you are going to get some swag. I've got some hats here. I'll show you. We've got a couple here. We've got this hat here, which is pretty popular. Also this hat here, which is also very nice, very casual. And then this one here, which is actually growing in some popularity too. So plus we've got much more. I think we're working on getting some hoodies and some other stuff as well. So if you send a question to feedback@moneymarkets.com and we use it, then you are going to get some swag. even better if you send us a video of you asking a question. If you video yourself asking a question, I would love to use that in one of our videos. I love those. I think it's great. And if you do that, then we're going to send you some stuff. We're going to send you some swag your way. So again, that email address is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. Now I'm going to talk about our Money Markets Cannabis Index. Again, we track cannabis companies with market caps of over 10 million, about 225 companies in the index. I'm going to reconstitute at some point in time, probably quarterly. Last week, the index had a value of 166.7, which was a slight decrease from the previous week. When I ran the index this morning, its value was 163.8. So we are seeing that down even more. Not a whole lot, but you have to consider earlier in the week, the index value dropped to around 161. So we are seeing a bit of an uptick as the broader market is carrying cannabis stocks with it. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ are all reaching new highs. Cannabis stocks are following suit and moving along higher as well. So we're seeing it's relatively a flat trading pattern right now. Cannabis stocks aren't really moving up. They're not really moving down by any significant measure, at least in the broad market. So things are just kind of moving along at a fairly even keel. Now, we did see some strong upward movement at the beginning of the year. This is when we started to ramp up discussion on cannabis legalization. That's died off. And since then, so have cannabis stocks. They've kind of fallen off a little bit since that conversation has kind of cooled. They're not dead. They're not done or anything like that. We're just not seeing a lot of significant movement in the cannabis market because we're not seeing a lot of movement and significant movement in cannabis legalization. So I'm going to update the index, let you know of its performance each and every week here in the Marijuana Market Update. And again, if you do have a question about a cannabis stock or a broader question about the market, send me an email, feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll flash that email address down below. Comment below here on YouTube as well. I look at those as well. Send us a question, maybe you making a video of your question, or maybe a testimonial. Maybe you're following the cannabis a watch list and you are seeing some big gains, or you saw some big gains. Love to hear about that. Shoot us a video, shoot us your testimonial. Would love to see that. If we use it, we're going to send you some free money market swag like I showed you before. Also, join our membership program on YouTube. I provide weekly updates about stocks on our watch list, along with exclusive videos, including interviews with cannabis insiders, watch list movements, any other things that are related to cannabis, blog posts, all that sort of stuff. We have all that. Just click join on our YouTube homepage. You can find out much more about that. Would love to get you involved in there. I do videos each and every week that our membership gets exclusive access to. You can follow me on Twitter. I give even more insights, not just on the cannabis market, but also the broader market as well. You can find me. My Twitter handle is Invest with Matt C. That's Invest with Matt C, all one word. You can find me on Twitter. Follow me. I try to follow you back. Thank you to all of you who watch our videos each and every week. We do it because we want to bring you the best insights into cannabis and investing that we can. And we love the feedback that we get. It's fantastic. Love whenever any of you reach out, whether you're asking me a question or trying to find out whether I'm hiding about high tide, which I'm not. I just moved that over to our membership community. So to the person who's emailing me that a couple times, that's why you haven't heard about it here, because I do it every week and I do it on our membership channel. So you can find out more information by clicking join down below, and I'll share that with you as well. If you have, again, a cannabis stock, anything you'd like me to look at, feedback@moneymarkets.com is the email address. Also check out moneymarkets.com each and every day. We provide safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for your portfolio. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst from Money Markets and the host of the weekly Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.